The country's payment system will attain a significant milestone as Nigeria joins the coveted League of Nations that have made outstanding advances in their electronic payments system with the unveiling of the first digital currency in the country. The payment instrument, to be known as eNaira, the letter E prefixed to Naira meaning electronic, is the brainchild of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and it was developed under the bank's Project Giant initiative. Good evening, and I am honored to welcome you to today's edition of You and the Economy, which will focus on a very historic leap in Nigeria's payments system. Now, and for the next couple of editions of the program, we shall take you on a journey that will enlighten you on what the digital currency product of the CBN is all about. We know you are curious to find out why the CBN decided to float a digital currency, whether digital currency is already in use in other climes or it will be peculiar to Nigeria alone, the procedures for assessing eNaira, and the different ways the digital currency can be used to conduct transactions. We shall provide answers to all these, as well as all possible frequently asked questions that the unveiling of the CBN's digital currency may throw up. Without being immodest, You and the Economy is the most dependable platform to link up with for the dissemination of the most credible information that will clarify the gray areas in all that you may want to know about the eNaira. The maiden episode of the Public Enlightenment mini-series on Nigeria's central bank digital currency, the eNaira, now begins.
The Nigerian economy, just like the rest of the world, is going digital, and cash cannot play in that space. Therefore, eNaira, which will represent the digital equivalent of cash, will be used as the fiat currency to effect transactions.
I think the eNaira represents for me a milestone. It represents a revolution of the payment system in Nigeria, which to me it's a very big feat, a major achievement on the part of the central bank and on the part of the entire financial system in Nigeria.
How I see it is that it will be good for everyone, because I know that when we had the talk of e-passport, people were wondering, and when e-passport came, it made it easier for people to get to have their passports. And so I also believe that eNaira, or e-money, though eNaira as it is called, would also help. Because in actual fact, the use of electronics in everything we have done in life has helped things to be made better.
A distinguishing characteristic of the banking sector globally is its extraordinary propensity to develop and introduce remarkably new products and services with great rapidity to meet the aspirations of its customers and to improve profit margin. To be sure, the ability of a player to get a desired share of the market in the sector is equally determined by its capacity to develop and offer attractive products and top-drawer services for customers. Product development is therefore imperative for all actors in the banking sector, including central banks. This is in spite of the fact that apex banks, being regulators, are not in competition for profit and market share with other actors in the banking sector of the countries where they operate. In Nigeria, the Apex Bank, Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has never lagged behind in developing new products and services in fostering the discharge of its core mandates. These mandates are: ensure monetary and price stability, issue legal tender currency in Nigeria, maintain external reserves to safeguard the international value of the legal tender currency, promote a sound financial system in Nigeria, and act as banker and provide economic and financial advice to the federal government. One area in which the CBN has been very active in developing new products and services, and where its innovations in that regard are clearly felt by the public, is in the payments system. Some of the landmark products initiated by the Apex Bank in that sensitive area of its core mandates in the recent past are the Magnetic Ink Check Clearing System, MICA, which significantly shortened the number of days it took for check instruments to clear in the then clearing house, and the cashless payment system introduced to discourage the use of physical cash in conducting financial transactions. The cashless payment system led to the introduction of points of sales machines, POS, and the reader cards used to transact payments on them, while also making the use of automated teller machines, ATMs, more popular. Even so, the CBN has never relented in developing instruments to modernize and even revolutionize Nigeria's payments system. That resolve led to the development of Nigeria's first digital currency, dubbed eNaira. But then, what really is a central bank digital currency, CBDC? And why did the CBN decide to introduce its own, the eNaira?
A digital currency, especially in terms of central bank digital currency, is the digital representation of cash. In our case, is the digital representation of Naira as we know it. So instead of having a physical wallet in your pocket, you will now have a digital wallet on a ledger. You'll be able to conduct e-commerce and play in the digital economy.
As you have heard, eNaira is the digital form of the Naira currency and will be used like cash, just the same way as Naira notes are used for similar purpose. This means eNaira will circulate alongside the Naira currency notes and will thus complement rather than replace cash. Therefore, its introduction does not mean the Naira will be phased out, although the norm in the global economy is to downplay the use of physical cash in favor of electronic systems of payment. In complementing cash as a system of payment, the eNaira offers a much cheaper proposition to the issuing authority. This is because, unlike the Naira currency notes, which are printed at huge costs, eNaira is not printed. Rather, it is created through a very smooth and foolproof process that will be explained to you shortly. Consequently, it is a safer means of payment. For unlike the printed Naira currency notes, which are oftentimes counterfeited by fraudsters and scammers, eNaira is secured with cryptographic techniques against cloning and other forms of attacks and abuses that currency notes are often subjected to. This is even more so because eNaira is not an entity that can be passed from hand to hand physically. But then, who issues the eNaira? In line with Section 2 of the CBN Act 2007, the CBN is the issuing authority for all forms of the Naira, and this includes the eNaira. Similarly, the CBN will be responsible for determining the technical, regulatory, and operational standards for eNaira to guide financial institutions operating in the financial system. Now you know what the eNaira is. You also know that it will exist side by side the Naira currency notes that you are all familiar with, and that the one will not be withdrawn from circulation for the other. The fact that the digital currency is not prone to being counterfeited has also been established. Above all, you have been told it will be issued by the CBN. But then, why did the CBN decide to introduce the eNaira? Here are the answers.
The use of cash is declining everywhere in the world, just as in Nigeria. And with the advent of digital commerce, which is booming in the country, more and more people are adopting the use of electronic money to facilitate digital commerce. So our own eNaira is a digital representation of cash, which means that it is a fiat currency that will just be as widely acceptable as the physical, or what you can call your analog Naira. Digital currency is what central banks all over the world, they are providing as an alternative to the current money arrangement. We are not the first. We know the PBOC in China has unveiled theirs, and many other central banks are at advanced stages of unveiling their own digital currency, and our own digital currency, which is tagged eNaira, will certainly come into operation by the special grace of the Almighty by October, and we are working very hard for this.
Naturally, the question that arises next is, in the event that one is interested in using the eNaira to make payments, how do you access it? This is how. Accessing eNaira is done through a process known as onboarding. This literally means that you bring yourself on board a platform on which it is accessed. Customers will be able to access the eNaira through what is known as the eNaira wallet. The wallet is found in app stores, meaning digital application stores such as the Google Play App Store and the Apple Play App Store, both readily available on most regular smartphones. The eNaira wallet is identified on the Google and Apple Play stores by its dedicated name, Speed. eNaira wallet can also be accessed to make payments by customers who do not have smartphones like Android and iPhones, and who are therefore unable to access the Google and Apple Play stores on their basic feature GSM telephone handsets. Such owners of feature telephone handsets can access the eNaira wallet by dialing a USSD shortcode on their feature phones and follow the required steps that a voice prompt will provide. A USSD, which means Unstructured Supplementary Service Data, is a communications service controlled by mobile network operators and a critical piece of infrastructure used to provide mobile financial services on most telephone handsets. The services are provided at low cost and without requiring access to the user's subscriber identity module SIM card. The USSD channel will therefore make eNaira accessible to rural dwellers, most of whom are usually unable to afford the cost of smartphones.
The density of smartphone in the country is about 40 million. But I do know that over 100 million Nigerians too have, almost 200 million actually have ordinary phones, feature phones if you like. So we're looking at introducing USSD service. So even without a smartphone, you'll be able to get the wallet created for you, and you'll be able to instruct the ledger to transfer money or to be able to buy. Additionally, we're looking at off-chain kind of payment, offline payments. So we could have a hardware wallet as well. So a card could carry actually the amount of money you have, and you'll be able to transact money with it. So we have thought about that, but we do hope before the end of the year, this category of people you are talking about would be able to access and use eNaira.
Now, what is meant by eNaira wallet, which you are required to download from an app store to access eNaira? The eNaira wallet is a digital storage facility that holds your eNaira similar to the way you use a physical wallet to hold or keep your Naira currency notes. The eNaira wallet is not only required to access your eNaira, you also need it to hold and use the digital currency. But you are not done yet with the steps you must take to access your eNaira. Having downloaded the eNaira wallet app, you will be prompted to complete a simplified and uncomplicated account registration process of sorts, just the same as the Know Your Customer KYC requirements for opening an account with commercial banks. The process requires that the following information be provided: Bank Verification Number (BVN), National Identity Number (NIN), and all other information that a typical KYC document is structured to elicit about a bank customer. So, who can access the eNaira? According to the guidelines of the eNaira payment system, any person or business can have access to the eNaira as long as they meet the requirements for doing so, which were enumerated earlier. Now you've met all the requirements. That is, you have set up your eNaira wallet and you have completed the registration process. Naturally, the next thing that is of concern to you is how to get eNaira into your eNaira wallet. Again, this is not a complicated process because you have been provided with 3 very simple options to do so. They are by doing a direct transfer from your bank to your eNaira wallet, by having funds transferred from another eNaira wallet to your own, and finally, making cash payment into it through an agent or a bank.
Let's imagine a bank has, say, about 10 billion naira in his account. That is physical naira in his account. We can decide we'll move, say, about, out of the 10 billion, move 2 billion in electronic e-wallet into an e-wallet for the bank. So if you're a bank customer and you have, say, 10 million naira in the bank, for your comfort of spending and making purchases, you could tell the bank to load 2 million out of your 10 million into your wallet. So your bank balance sitting in physical cash drops to 8, while your e-wallet that you carry carries 2 million naira. With that, you can make purchases both within and out across the country. There are so many variants of the eNaira, but this is where we will start.
So to fund it means you request your bank to convert some of your deposits into the eNaira, and you have your e-wallet, and then you can do transactions consumer to consumer, person to person, peer to peer, or you can also do you can use it to also buy goods, person to merchant transactions.
It is obvious that the use of eNaira will gain traction more quickly in the economy if Nigerians know and are indeed convinced that using it to make payments will offer some significant benefits that may not be derivable from the use of cash for the same purpose. Once that is firmly established, they will be inclined to settle for the eNaira option rather than continue to use the Naira currency notes to make payments. We are now told that such remarkable benefits will be realized from using eNaira to make payments instead of the Naira currency notes, which many still carry around for that purpose.
One I can tell you is, no armed robber will visit you in the middle of the night and pack your cash that you have. Now, during the pandemic, this government had to go to the remotest areas of this country to be able to pay out cash to people who needed it because people couldn't come out to work. And the informal sector, people actually earn daily to be able to feed themselves and their families. eNaira, if we had eNaira and people had wallet, so government would have been able to pay directly into those wallets, and you'll be able to have to buy food and everything without having to touch cash. That's one. And the cost of minting currency right now is high all over the world. And with eNaira, we believe we'll be able to reduce that cost by over 80%. Thirdly, the convenience. When you now exceed a certain amount, you can't withdraw anything. I mean, you have to pay to withdraw from the bank because of our cashless policy. eNaira, you'll be able to do that transaction. The fourth one is, if you walk into a supermarket today and say you need 70 kobo change, nobody will give it to you because the coins have disappeared. With eNaira, you'll be able to get your change. So we're introducing back, and hopefully with that, the value of Naira would improve.
Between 2014 and 2019, one report I read, said central banks spent over 300 billion naira printing naira notes. So that will now reduce. The cost of also destroying dilapidated, unfit naira notes will also reduce. So on the part of the central bank, this cost will come down.
Definitely, it would be better for us. I think it's also something that is aimed at helping us to operate cashless economy the more. So that's why I believe it's good for Nigeria. It's good for us. I support it with all my strength because I know it's something that will help everyone involved. Well, I expect that just as the E has done in all the other things, in banking, in issuance of license and issuance of national ID card and international ID card, it will also help to ease things that have to do with things that have to do with financial activities in Nigeria. And since the central bank that is supporting it, that is sponsoring it, carrying it out, then it must be good for Nigeria.
It's better to create awareness for people to understand, because for me, I've heard of it, but I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know how it's going to be, being used or how it's going to operate in the country. So we hope that jingles, and on TV, on television, they create awareness.
They can organize a form of seminar and so on and so forth, put people, then people that go to the seminar will be able to tell the other people in the public and environment what is going on.
We recognize the need for wide stakeholder engagements and education to be able to create awareness for the use of eNaira as alternative to cash to further drive towards a cashless society.
Now, you know why the CBN decided to introduce the eNaira, and that its introduction will not lead to the withdrawal of the Naira currency notes, which shall continue to remain both in circulation and as a legal tender. But this public enlightenment journey has just begun, as there are still a whole lot of grey areas we shall clarify to make you understand the eNaira project of the CBN more. For now, in case there is any issue we have analyzed or explained on this edition of the program on the eNaira that you do not understand still or require more clarifications on, please feel free to reach out to us via the CBN website. It's www.cbn.gov.ng, or you may call the CBN Contact Center on 0700 225 5226. to seek further clarifications. Be sure that you shall be attended to. On that note, we've come to the end of this maiden episode of the Public Enlightenment mini-series on the eNaira. Do join us again next week when the journey continues with more informative insights into the workings of the eNaira. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.
you.